What's up, guys? Langosta and Jojo here.
How's it?
And you are watching Rifles, Rods, and Broads.
Episode number 24.
Today, we are talking about a lot of different topics. It's going to be a rambling session. It will be fun. Stay tuned.
Yeah, rambling sessions are always fun. Langosta, how have you been, man?
Man, I've been pretty good since the last time we talked, pre-Romanian bear hunting opportunity time.
I mean, we've got to have all kinds of stories about your Romania hunt. You know, I couldn't wait till you got back to tell all the stories.
Romania was very, very, very eventful.
Oh, tell us more.
So no, we'll get to that in a second. We got modern news to discuss here. With for those of you who haven't been following the news, two hunters in Colorado, they're out-of-state hunters, young guys, mid-20s, were found dead.
Yeah,
dead, like DEAD, dead,
crazy,
killed by lightning strike.
It's. So this story, it really intrigued me. I was in Atlanta at the time, and then Misha started sending messages like, "Hey, check this story out." And it was a page on Facebook, Colorado Elk Hunters.
Okay.
And they had first posted it because they had two missing Colorado elk hunters. And as you mentioned, non-residents. And what was interesting, not just the whole story itself, but we are familiar with the area because it is right around the same area that we hunt or try to hunt on an annual basis.
Oh, your secret hunting area that nobody knows about.
Secret hunting area that
somewhere in Colorado.
Somewhere in Colorado. But the whole story was just, I mean, it was a shocker to find out that there were two missing hunters in that area, and to see kind of the hunting community, what took place once that information was kind of shared.
Right.
Just kind of following the story through the Colorado Elk Hunters Facebook page and Facebook group was interesting. It was nice to see that there were so many people that were chiming in with information, because nowadays we've got all kinds of technology, right? So getting lost is hard. If you're not prepared, you can still get lost, but if you're prepared,
I say getting lost is hard now.
Yes, it's hard.
It's not like before.
No, you've got your mapping apps, whether you're an Onyx user or a Go Hunt Maps user. As far as communication devices, you've got the Garmin InReach devices or satellite communication devices where you can keep in touch with home. Back at base camp, obviously, Starlink has been a game changer for many, many people.
Yeah, we love the Starlink.
So you're never like far off. And nowadays, there's phone companies that are testing beta products with Starlink.
Yeah.
T-Mobile, I think it is.
T-Mobile, and I think, Tesla is coming out with their phone, and that's definitely 100% on Starlink.
Oh, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, nowadays the technology that's out there, it's kind of hard, or it's hard to imagine that when you hear a story that there's two people that are hunters and used to being outdoors and have hunted before, that they weren't found. So what was really interesting is that they got the ping locations of the Garmin app, and you were able to kind of map out where they were by day. So this was about a week and a half ago. I think they went hunting, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have my dates right, but maybe like September 9th or something like that. And then their last communication was on September 12th. So you could literally see all of the waypoints and all of the pings of where their devices, as they were communicating with their family back home, where these locations were. And the fiance of one of the hunters that went missing kind of reached out to the hunting community and provided all of that information, where their base camp was, provided coordinates of like their last pings. You know, people obviously that were boots on the ground wanted to help out, that were close by. So they said, hey, you know, where should we meet? We're happy to help. But the other interesting thing that caught my attention was the fact that with all of the e-scouting technology nowadays, people were starting to put together the coordinates with the different ping locations at the different times to kind of isolate where it is that the search areas should be.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of people that were posting onto the thread like, hey, based off of these coordinates, this is the location. based off of the different terrain that we see, it's likely that they didn't go this route, and they, based off of the trailhead, they probably went this way, that way. So they were able to like kind of really isolate locations on where the search party that had boots on the ground should go. And it was a few days. And unfortunately, what ended up happening and the spread of just what was going on was pretty fascinating to see, because it started kind of catching wind all over the place, right? So the hunting community, although it's rather large, it kind of became small in the sense of the word started spreading. It started from, the Colorado elk hunters page, and then some other, pages started picking it up. You had backcountry hunters and anglers kind of posting like, hey, if you guys can help out, make sure that you help out. Then it hit the media and all that stuff. So that was interesting to see. It was nice to see kind of everybody getting together to do their best to kind of find these two individuals that are out there in Colorado. And as you mentioned, unfortunately, when they were found, they were deceased. And what's kind of come of it is just the fact that, storms rolled in one night, and they were only 2 miles away from their car.
God, that's the ultimate tragedy.
Crazy.
That's the ultimate tragedy. I mean, it's like drowning at the beach.
It's
like by the shore.
By the shore near a lifeguard tower. Because, I mean, two miles out, I mean, in the wilderness, it's not that bad. I mean, 2 miles, obviously, in the terrain can be, it could be a bitch to kind of trek that far. But it's not like 2 miles hiking on flat road where you're going to get there in a matter of 40 minutes or so. But, 2 miles away from their vehicle. And unfortunately, they were found. They were deceased. And some of the news that came out as of late is that they were struck by lightning. So there was actually storms that came through the area. And unfortunately, they got caught up in the storms. And what are the chances? It's crazy.
So were they at their base camp, or were they like?
No, they weren't at their base camp. So they weren't. Their car, their vehicle.
So they were hunting out of the car. They weren't like sleeping, or I don't know. Maybe the car was at their base camp, but was their car at the road, or was it at their base camp?
So their car was at their road. From what I understand, and don't quote me on this, it's not. It's
maybe
not
like
not
bits
allowed
and
yet.
pieces,
But they did set up a camp at least one night.
Okay,
that was like a couple of miles in.
So they did like what you would call a drop camp, or a fly camp,
right? But based off of all the stuff that I read, a lot of their stuff was actually back on their back at their car. So my thought is that they probably got done with the base camp, and then they went back to their car, and they're like, hey, you know what? We may have heard them in here, or we may have saw that. Let's just go check it out one more day,
right?
See what we got. So they didn't take everything with them.
I see.
And it just kind of brings to light how fast things can change. And in that area, I've hunted around that location within the unit a couple of times, and each time that we've hunted there, we've come across similar situations where, the skies are clear, and, you see some weather on the weather app, but you're out there in the mountains and kind of out in the wilderness, and things can change really quick.
Yeah.
And we've ended up in situations where literally in Colorado, it's like the loudest thunder, the craziest lightning that I've ever seen.
Doesn't sound good. Doesn't
and
feel good.
No.
And be in your house.
And it can change really fast,
yeah.
right? So the thought process is that, what's the safest way, or how's the safest way to handle the situation? It's like, oh, look at the weather report and see what's coming. And then, if it looks shady, just don't go out. But by the same token, if it doesn't look that shady at the time, and then you are out, if you are caught in that position, what do you do?
Well, so I gotta backtrack a little bit and say that as far as the hunting community in Colorado, I have never felt so welcomed in any other state while hunting than in Colorado. Mm-hmm. When you roll into Meeker, Colorado during elk season, first rifle season, it's like they roll out the red carpet. They want hunters to come in and eat at the restaurants, stay at the hotels, and buy groceries and all that stuff. So it is not a surprise that when the Mayday call went out, that a lot of the community really kind of chipped in and tried to help find them. Now for second, and I don't remember what this was, archery season, right?
Archery season. So it's
not as full as
it's in the beginning of September.
Yeah. There's really not as many. I mean, it's crazy to see those towns, right? Like it's dead. It's dead 2 weeks before rifle season, and then by the second season, third season rifle, the town is swollen with people. Like everything is sold out. You can't get a place to eat. You can't get a seat at the table unless you eat late at night. So it's really insane to see how much these local communities depend on the elk hunters to come in and support the revenue for the year. So anyway, that's really cool to hear that so many people pitched in and wanted to help find the guys.
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, there's a lot of pictures, and it was just cars after cars, people on horseback, people with search dogs.
Yeah. And most people don't know this, but a lot of times the cattle leases for feed. So in Colorado, if you raise cattle, you get a permit to have your cattle graze on public property. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the cattle, there's cattle up there. Like in archery season, there's still cattle up there. They won't bring them down to like a week before rifle season.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So anyway, what I'm saying, there's a lot of cowboys up there with their gear and stuff. So it's really cool that, I mean, I guess that's why they found them so fast too. Relatively speaking, because man, that part of Colorado can be pretty rugged and remote. You know? So there's definitely sections there that are either hiking or mule or horse in.
So, question to you, right? You get caught up in a storm, kind of unsuspecting or unsuspected. I mean, you might think to yourself, okay, there's some weather that's coming in, a light rain, doesn't look like anything too crazy, and then it ends up being a thunderstorm. You see lightning. You're out in the wilderness. You're miles away from your camp or your car. Where's the safest spot?
Well, I mean, if you read the stuff that's posted online and stuff, you got to get out of you want to go into a low area spot and become low target, right? So not behind a big old tree and stuff like that. You want to you can get into the thick forest, right? Like you'd be, if there is what's called the dark timber. But I think, I hate to sound like an old guy, but I think one of the big differences from when I was a young man and I was gun ho and let's go, and like many of us were in our early to mid 20s, and now is that I'm just a lot more cautious. I'm a lot more willing to walk away and not put myself, or if I'm going with my kids, I'm putting them in danger. So yeah, I mean, scenario wise, you plan ahead a lot more. With that said, I've been up there second and third rifle season, and we got 2 feet of snow.
Right.
And I didn't have a weather app or all that stuff like you do now. But basically, when it was snowing like that, I just made sure that the camp was properly set, meaning that I got some tarps. The outfitter had left some tarps for me, so I covered all the firewood. And I stacked some more firewood. There were a couple trees. The guy left the chainsaw and stuff. So pretty much, since it was cold and kind of nasty, I felled the tree and I just created firewood. And I was in the tent for 2 days. My dad and I were in the tent for 2.5 days. It was so. At some point, it was whiteout conditions outside. It was.
Oh yeah, there's points in times where the weather that hits you know exactly what to do, and that's not be out there. And there's going to be times like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's one thing where you get caught and you went on a hike and you got, but I think that when you get a little older, you're a lot more cautious especially if you've gotten yourself into a pinch a couple times, where it was pretty dicey. You're like, that was probably pretty stupid to do that. So I remember getting up to this, I used to book this outfitter that had a drop camp, and he would drop us off there. And coming up, there's 2 ways up and down off the mountain. There was a steeper way and there was a longer way it took longer, but the slope was a lot less steep. Mm-hmm. And there was kind of like the emergency exit back road, which was very steep. And anyway, I remember one of the wranglers, he took one of the guys off the mountain for whatever reason, he wanted to get off the mountain, and he took him on the backside after the 2 feet of snow. and it was a shit show. The mule broke loose. It was fucking Bud Light all over the fucking mountain. Like, I mean, it was bad. Like the mule got spooked, slid down the thing, bucked off a lot of the guy's gear. I mean, he was shaking, and there was like Miller Lite. We saw Miller Lite for like 3 days. We were picking up cans off the mountain because the mule broke off, and he ran to the truck. He knew where the truck was, but he dropped beer and gear all the way down to the truck. So, probably not the best day to leave. Probably would have been smart to be like, yeah, let's just do it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hunker down,
chill, cook some ribeyes, and I think that's the big thing is if you don't have a plan B, then you're gonna suffer whatever plan A or the lack of plan A is. Mm-hmm. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and I mean the scenarios are all different too, right? Like the example that you're giving is like, you got drop camp and you got some things kind of going in there or some shelter. A lot of the guys nowadays, because the whole thing is, right, like, hey, let's go out there into the backcountry. Everything that I've got is on my back. And you could end up in a situation where, you're going to go out there for the backcountry and you're going to be out there for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days more.
Yeah.
And, your whole entire plan is to, head out there and I'm going to be 5 miles away from, the trail or the car. And you're basically, camping out of your pack, whether you got like a bivvy or a kind of like a 1-man, 2-man tent setup, because you're not going to carry anything huge on your back.
Yeah, you're probably going to have a bivvy.
In those situations, it kind of brings to light the fact, like, what do you do to prepare? I mean, the odds are that you're not going to be struck and killed by lightning, right? However, it can happen. And in the moment, if you don't necessarily or normally experience those things, it could be a bit different. Like hunters from California, how often are we coming across these huge thunder and lightning storms?
Very, very seldom, unless you're from up north.
Seldom, right? Yeah. And we may go hunting every year, and we may go out into the forest every year, and then we put ourselves in these situations where we're putting in for out-of-state tags, but we're not necessarily experienced to deal with that type of terrain, 100%. That type of environment, that type of weather,
100%. Where
it can change instantly. It just kind of brings to light the thought process of what would I do in that situation to make sure that, I or anybody else I'm with is kind of like in the safest spot possible.
So you bring up an interesting point, because when I remember when I first started going to Colorado, you have to they give you like these pamphlets and stuff, and I don't remember, I don't have the statistics off the top of my head, but a large percentage of people that go hunting, particularly from out of state, in Colorado, get themselves into trouble, and some of them die from exposure mostly,
or even high elevation.
Sure, all of that. So back to your question, like, what do you do? Like, how do you evaluate your risk, right, when you're out there? I've never really seriously contemplated getting hit by lightning. Really, I mean, this is kind of like a very rare story.
Yep.
But I always evaluated how far I left from camp based on who I was with and the difficulty of the terrain. In other words, for me, the risk was falling, either sliding off the side of a hill, or traveling. If any of you guys have gone in the dark timber, there's a lot of overfall trees. So you could snap an ankle in there, right? Like
easy.
You could snap an ankle in there. So I'm always gauging from where I left the trailhead to our camp to how deep I go in, and then what's the purpose of going in deep in. So I would have had to have seen. One of the things that we've done where we almost did a fly camp. We didn't quite have to, because we ended up shooting the elk closer than we thought where they were. But let's say you're at camp, you're at your fly camp, and you're looking at, let's say, another 4 or 5 miles in. I would say that the only justification for continuing to go deeper is if you see the elk moving in the morning and in the evening along the same trail. Many elk, when they're undisturbed in the Rockies where I've hunted, you'll see them in the morning, and then they come back to bed in their bedding area, and they'll use the same hillside, the same trails to come over unless somebody bumps them and puts pressure on them.
Right.
So if I were to see that, like let's say we saw a amazing bull in the morning and he was bugling and he's got his harem of girls, they make it over the ridge, and then we buzz around in the area that we're in, and then we come back to that same viewpoint and we see them come back. Then it's like, okay, now we got to do a plan to get over there, and then what is that going to take? So what do we need to break down? Because now for sure we're going to have to break down that elk no bone. Like we're not humping bones that far.
Yeah.
I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So you're gonna be thinking, okay, I need my game bags, pillowcases, whatever the hell it's gonna be. And then you're making a plan to where you think you're gonna be able to have a good ambush point. So that's how I would evaluate it, It wouldn't just be me wandering aimlessly deeper than where we're already camped.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would look at it. And my number one risk would be the terrain. How difficult, how many ups and downs do we have to go, and how steep is it going to be able to make it over there safely?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point in terms of just kind of coming up with the plan. And I think also, too, as you're going out there, what you have to constantly do is kind of revise the plan if needed, right? Sure. You have to always evaluate the situation that you're in to make sure that you kind of map out what are going to be your next moves to keep yourself safe, because that's one of the things that, maybe if this is someone's first experience or they don't necessarily experience it that much, your mind may actually take you to places that you shouldn't be, right? And it kind of may push you further and further and further and further. And the one thing that you have to do is, just constantly evaluate your situation for your safety, because we are all outdoors and we're far away from the closest medical facility. We may not have any reception.
It's bad.
You could find yourself in bad situations. So what you have to do is that you have to constantly put your safety first and make sure that first and foremost, you and whoever you're with are safe, right?
Yeah.
And now in this story, again, it's really unfortunate because there's some things that obviously you will never be able to plan for, and you could be the safest person, the most fit person, and something like this happens. And literally, we're talking about, being out and not going further. This is like 2 miles away from your car, which again it
sucks. It's a tragedy. That died.
It's a tragedy, man. Car, yeah. And these two young gentlemen, Andrew Porter, who is 25 of North Carolina, and Ian Stasko, 25 of Salt Lake City, Utah. I mean, young lives, man.
Yeah,
young lives. But our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers kind of go out to the family. I'm proud of the hunting community and all the support that was shown
100%
when the message went out. And it's just kind of like, it kind of puts you in that moment, right? Like, you could be really stoked and excited to go out there and think you have everything. But the one thing that you don't want to forget about is just thinking about your safety and planning everything out. And again, it's not to say that these guys did not do that. It just brings to light how important it is that you have to do that whenever you do go out.
Well, a tragedy like this doesn't happen with one mistake. It has to be a series of bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this to, I mean, it's a little soon to criticize, but I'm just saying in general, right? When I have been in a precarious position while hunting, it's normally because of a few decisions that should not have gotten green lighted, right? And I don't think that this is any different. I think that you'll come to these different decision points. When I first started going to Colorado, I had a paper map. Like I didn't have Hunt. I mean, I started, this is, probably, 2006, 2007, something like that. I mean, there were these companies that would create these topo maps for you, and you'd have to study the map and study the trail. It would show you the trailheads, the horse trailheads up on that mountain that I like to go. Here's another thing too, and I think this is an important component of the conversation. Once you find an area that you like, go to the same area. Don't go to a different area every year. if you find a good piece of a good unit that you feel like has good access, has good resources for elk, keep going back there until you really learn it well. So you'll be able to make better decisions. It won't be such a steep learning curve every time you go,
Yeah.
I think that's an important point.
I mean, it's always nice to plan your trip that way too, though. I mean, if there's areas where it's, I mean, obviously too, it depends on how you're going hunting, because if you're playing the lottery and the tag system,
Oh yeah,
it's not all you're never fortunate enough to draw the same area. But without having say that you go to the same area all the time, it brings into light the importance of making sure that you are familiar with the area.
Yeah.
There's so much e-scouting, but one of the most important things that, if you have the ability to do it, is to, prior to your hunt, maybe take a look at your calendar and see, what you can set up in terms of scouting trips just to go take a look at the place.
Yeah, go in the summer. Go check it out in the summer. Go summer camp there.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time looking at when I first discovered Google Earth. Now it's Google Maps, but Google Earth, I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, then I would compare it to my paper maps, and I would start to imprint in my mind. I would get a bearing, right? Like like this is the largest mountain here. This is the largest mountain that you can actually circumvent, that you can go around. These are areas that you can't cross. I remember seeing Jojo from the base camp we were at. We got dropped off 7 miles in with the mules and the horses. And from where I was, after that snowstorm, we came out, and I looked up. There was a big bowl at the top of the mountain. I never got to the top of the mountain. I was probably mid-mountain, maybe bottom third of the mountain. So when I look up after the storm, the entire mountain bowl where there were no trees was white. And I saw the bull elk and a couple cows step into the clearing. And that bull was really far away, but you could see his antlers were so big, they would almost rub his butt. And I was so tempted to go up there. I mean, I watched this bull probably for like an hour that morning, because I guess he was hunkered down. He was cold, so he just wanted to stand in the sun.
Yeah.
And he just stood out there for a couple hours, and the cows would kind of, they started stomping on the ground to try and get some grass and all that. But I remember figuring trying to talk myself into going up there. And I kept looking at the little lines on the topo map, and they were almost touching, right? Like, it got real steep. So there were a couple spots that were real steep. So I would have had to go basically north, go around that steep area, and come back around that mountain and then back up again, which meant it was probably a day and a half worth of walking, right? Sleep there the night, shoot them, cut them up, and then hump 4 or 5 trips back, 6 trips back.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the outfitter guys, they'll bring the horses, and once you down them, they'll bring them down in parts.
That's still hard.
But I just couldn't do that, and then I couldn't really see for whatever reason, the map wasn't very clear on what the backside of that mountain looked like, but it looked like, to me, like a 15, 20 mile loop. Well, not a loop, but one way, probably a 30-mile loop going and coming back. And so, okay, so cool. Let's say I go over there. I got 2 days worth of food. Obviously, I was a lot younger and in much better shape. But then what do you am I going to do a fly camp over there? Like, how are we going to make this happen? I don't know where the spring waters are. The owner had leases to 11 camps up there, and he marked on my map everywhere there was spring water you could actually drink. He would actually jam a hose into the spring where it was coming up, and you could fill up your stuff. You could drink out of the hose, whatever. You wouldn't have to worry about getting sick. So, in my head, I was going through all of these things, and it's like, man, it was just me and my dad, right? And my dad was not in such. He was definitely not fit enough to go back up there. So it would have been me, and we just didn't have enough. If I would have paid for the outfitter and stuff to take me over there and gone by horses, sure, that would have been totally worth it. But that wasn't the scenario. So anyway, I chose not to do that. And I ended up killing a bull. I don't know, like a fucking 10-minute walk from the camp. I mean,
that's the best.
Yes.
If you can luck out into any one of those scenarios.
Yeah, I did. Well, he was not a monster bull. He was a meat bull, but he was, 10 minutes from camp. And it was like, I took all the back straps, put them in the shade, and washed everything up, hung everything on the tree.
Yeah, you can do as many trips as you want back and forth to the kill to take care of that. And,
it wasn't
leave the bone in.
That's what she said.
30 minutes, a 30-mile loop. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's what we're all gauging all the time, right? Is we're gauging risk reward.
Yeah. And nowadays, there's so many things. The good part about hunting, in today's world is the fact that safety never rests, right? So the evolution and the revolution and evolution of technology has made hunting a lot safer than it's ever been in many different aspects.
Yeah.
In terms of mapping and having offline maps and having a topo map not on paper but on your electronic device to where you can turn that map into a 3D map now
you can see
that
landmarks.
has topo, and then you can see landmarks and all that stuff. And then obviously, even in the whole water situation, that's something that you have to think about. But there's technology there in terms of, and this isn't new technology, but like water filtration systems, iodine tabs, all those types of things.
Yeah.
And then satellite communication devices, which I think is, absolutely key. But it's not foolproof as well. I've got a Garmin InReach, and just at base camp, if you're not out in the freaking open, it's not sending any signals. It's not sending any messages. So you find yourself in the dark forest. Good luck that Garmin satellite, or any satellite communicator for that matter, is even going to work. It's just going to blink red because it doesn't have a clear signal to the sky. And then, so be it. You're talking about the fallen trees. You try to step over one of those things, slip, fall, break your leg. You're like half a mile into the dark forest. How do you get out?
Yeah.
It's crawling on your forearms at that point because, your legs are all broken or whatever's. But just stay safe out there. And again, very tragic situation could happen to anybody in this regard. I mean, again, 2 miles away from the car, lightning, storms. So bummers.
It is. It's unfortunate. I guess, if there's anything good to come of this, it's really that people become a little bit more cautious, especially, the young gun-ho folk, try and look at things from a long-term perspective and try and assess the risk that you're at correctly. When I was younger, I didn't have a lot of people that I could go hunt with other than my dad, but this was before I joined the club. But when I was younger, I would hunt by myself. I'd go into pretty remote areas by myself. And that's not a good idea.
Yep.
That's not a good idea. I mean,
be prepared.
It's just not a good idea. You think about how simple it would be just to roll an ankle, or even if you fractured it, if you did it 5 miles from the car or 5 miles from your trailhead, that's a long way to
It's
get
long,
back.
man. And out there in the outdoors, it's like, I mean, honestly, it could happen anywhere too.
Yeah.
Like you think like, if these things happen in crazy, situations, or where the terrain's horrible, but you could be walking anywhere and something happens. So
I got to tell you, one of the things that one of the YouTube channels that I've been watching recently is the Outdoor Boys, and this cat, dude, he builds and sleeps overnight in a snow area without a blanket.
Is that the guy that like stopped doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, he got like 15 million viewers or something like that.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm too popular for my family to even enjoy being outside anymore. So
I don't know. I guess those are all like rich people problems, but like, I got too much money. I don't know what to do. I'm stressed.
Yeah.
The thing is that the dude is a genuine talent in the sense that with a saw, he's got that little handsaw. It almost looks like a gardening saw, and a little hatchet, dude. That dude can make a legit shelter to survive like a few nights. I've seen him do it. And
he's gonna be like a celebrity guest on Alone.
I think that he would win it. I mean, he's like the stuff that I've seen him build, and like these ideas he'll grab. He'll make charcoal, right, and then bury the charcoal under 2 inches of dirt, and it stays warm for hours. Like he could sleep, if you were to put just down a fabric and sleep on top of it, of course you're gonna look like Brian. Who's that kid from Snoopy, the dirty one all the time?
Is that Linus?
Linus. It's gonna look like
no, Pigpen.
Pigpen. He's gonna look like Pigpen in the morning. Yeah, I mean he looks like he just like a chinchilla that rubbed around in fucking charcoal. But anyway, dude, there's 2 feet of snow outside. It's like -5, and the dude like slept on like without anything, So I don't know, that dude's he's pretty badass. But those are
I would not do that.
But my point is the skill, right? Like the dude's like, hey man, we're gonna bang out a tent right now. We're gonna do a little mini cabin here. We're gonna do, and he's like, the biggest mistake that people make is they don't make enough charcoal when he's prepping the area, and he'll dig out all that snow, go to dirt, chop up wood, do a platform, chop up wood, do a bed, chop up wood, do a little fly, put a little canopy thing over himself, and
next thing you know, it's on Airbnb.
Next thing you know, it's an Airbnb special. So anyway, I think you gotta get your skill up before you can increase the risk.
Yep.
You gotta skill up. You gotta like Clint Eastwood said, a man's gotta know his limitations.
I don't disagree, man. Don't disagree, but yeah. So for me, the lesson and the moral of this story is, always think about how you put yourself in situations and what are you going to be prepared for, and are you really prepared, and then also kind of prepare for that risk, right?
Yeah. Know
what it is that you are going into. Know kind of your limits, as you just mentioned, and don't be ashamed if you're not willing to stay out there doing some craziness, then don't. Yeah, I think when you're considering your risk, what's the risk of getting hurt, of transversing of the travel, and then do I have the gear to make it, right? Do I have the right boots? Do I have enough cold weather stuff? Yep.
Do I have water resources, or be able to get water resources? And then
do I have enough things on my back to survive?
That's right. Do I have the right things, right? So if I get into a pinch, what's the game plan for getting out of here? What's the game plan for communication? Yeah. So anyway, that is definitely a worthwhile conversation to have. 100%.
Something to think about, especially as you guys are going out, because hunting season is just starting and it's underway. Archery season is in full blast. Now, not so much kind of going out into the wilderness, but dove season kicked off at the beginning of September.
Quail's next.
Quail is next here in California, and there's a lot of adventures that are coming up this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've kind of already been on a bunch of adventures. You've been on a bunch of adventures, right? You just got back from Romania.
Romania, yes. It was so somebody sent me a text. Hey, Alex, good luck in Romania or bust. And I don't know if that was like that was not a good thing to say to me.
So what happened?
So I didn't go to Romania. The day before I'm leaving, I'm flying out, I call the guide that we had set up over there to I hadn't heard from him. I thought I was supposed to have like some kind of paperwork to bring in my gun. A month before, I sent him I sent my passport, the gun import form, and a hunting license for California, which I don't even know why the hell he asked me for that. But he's like, his response was something like, what gun? Something like, what gun? I'm like, no. He said his response was, the guns take 2 weeks to process. And I'm like, okay, well, I sent you the paperwork on the 14th of last month. He's like, oh.
My math tells me I had enough time.
It was like the O that I could hear from Romania. So
did it need to go through Google Translate?
No, it was
yeah.
So dude, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I was here at the office with Brian and doing regular work, and I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And I'm like, you does that mean you don't have my gun permit? And he's like, no, I can try and get it tomorrow. I'm like, dude, I land tomorrow. What do you mean you're going to try and get it tomorrow? So if you don't get it and I land my rifle, what? The Langosta goes to jail and the wife gets to take a picture of the last time and the last place she saw me? So I was just, dude.
That'd be an awesome post.
I texted my wife and my blood was boiling. And I'm like, hey, dude, I don't think this is going to happen, dude. This guy fucked up the gun permit thing. I'm going to go to lunch and come back and I'll decide what I'm going to do. Because I could still go, hypothetically, I could still go and use his.
I mean, you were booked. Gun. You had all your places to stay.
Yeah,
you had everything.
It was all done, yeah.
And he had gun. He had a gun or gun.
Sure, he had a gun.
Yeah.
So.
But that wasn't a part of the original plan.
No. I didn't want. It wasn't part of my plan. I mean, I told him what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I want to use my gun. So in his text is like, you never told me what gun you're bringing. I'm like, dude, it's on the fucking form. It's on the export form.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy, what made it worse is that he tried to turn it on me, like that I didn't tell him.
Lack of ownership.
Yeah, that only just infuriated me. If he would have said, hey, listen, dude, I fucked up, this and that, we'll make it up to you. We'll throw in 50% off red stag hunt, or we'll take $1,000 off a red stag hunt. Blah blah blah. Come, you're gonna like it. But it was none of that. It was just bad. It was just bad. Dude, I don't know that I have very high expectations, but like for me, the gun on a dangerous game hunt is a requirement. It's not. I'm not looking to save money and use 3 rounds of somebody else's gun. So anyway, I came back from lunch and I texted him like, hey, I'm not going. Cancel the hunt. I'm not going. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I told you that I wanted to take my gun and that's how I want to hunt my black bear. And the truth is, my brown bear. The truth is, a lot of the videos that I've seen of guys hunting bears in Alaska, they use a 375 or 300 Win Mag, and the bears don't drop. Most of the bears run into the thicket. So because my wife is with me, I don't want to go into the thick stuff with my wife and a pissed off shot wounded bear with a rifle that I've never shot, with ammo that I don't know what it is. Like I'm, you know what, dude, there's probably
some people may be comfortable with that, but knowing what you know and the experience that you have,
100% deal breaker. For me, that was 100%. It's a no-go. So anyway, I texted the dude and I called the whole thing off. And then like the next day he posts this last minute cancellation, hunt available, blah 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 on that forum that I found him on. And then I went on there and I said, yeah, it was a last minute cancellation because this guy didn't get my gun permit done.
Oh,
and then
fired a shot.
I did. No, I did. But listen, I'm gonna own my mistake. My mistake is I should have asked more questions. I should have. Every time that I've gone to Africa, you sign a contract. It's not a big, complicated lawyer contract, but it's like, hey, listen, you're going to hunt from these days to these days. The hunt's going to cost this amount. If you hunt any other animals, this is the price. So everybody knows what they're doing, right? You're hunting your hunt. In this case, it was a 3-day hunt. But, when you go to Africa, it's a 10 or 15-day hunt. This is your window. This is what you're going to spend. This is all that. For all I know, as I show up over there, and the guy's like, oh, no, you got a big bear. This bear is twice the money. What defense do I have? I didn't sign anything, right? I'm already there. Bear's dead.
Yeah.
This bear is not 15,000. It is 30,000.
And by the way, you're in Romania.
And you're in fucking Romania. If you want to get out with your gun and your wife at the same time, you're going to fucking pay the 30 G's. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, I told you guys, I think at one point I was joking, but I was serious. I'm like, this is either going to be a great hunt or it's going to be the worst fucking nightmare I've ever been involved in. And it was mostly because of the lack of detail. So I was just kind of going with it. Like, maybe the dude's one of those like handshake type of guys and, he'll honor his deal and we're good to go.
So in your past hunts, would you say that you found yourself asking more questions? Because I'll be honest, like I'm not a question guy. Yeah. My brother-in-law, he's like, he asks, I think I've said it on the fucking podcast.
He's a pilot.
Like he freaking every text he sends is a question mark, and he asks great questions to get to like the answers that he needs.
Right.
I'm more with like the go with the flow kind of guy, and if I find myself in a predicament, then
I'll get out of it.
I'll get out of it or find my way out of it.
Yeah.
So is this like not like you to where you normally ask more questions, or how would you say this differed from your Africa trips in terms of research?
It's probably similar. Jojo, I like the adventure of it.
Yeah.
I like the fact of not knowing everything. When the guys were going to Africa and they had like your brother-in-law questionnaire, I'm like, hey, listen, dude, stop. We're going to fucking Africa. All of the things that you have, your thing about being there at 3:00 in the afternoon or whatever anybody tells you about punctuality, how long it's going to take, how far it is, that doesn't apply. Those questions are void, null and void. If you go over there thinking that you're going to do an itinerary thing, all you're going to do is be pissed because none of that is going to manifest, right? So that's me. I have very low expectations. If it turns out good, fucking score, right? But I already expect it to not be that great, right? So it's hard to disappoint me because I have very low expectations, right? It's like going to a dive bar on Wednesday night. You're not going to find the love of your life there.
Or maybe you will.
What you're going to get is a penicillin shot on Friday. That's what you're going to find on Wednesday. So that, I'm not saying that that's a good way to pick an outfitter, but that had been my approach.
Yeah.
And in all fairness and no pun intended to the Romanians, but I didn't think that the Romania was that much more organized than Africa. So my expectation was about the same. It was about the same. So, but here, this is where it differed. This is where I'm not easy-go-lucky. If you tell me that, so the only thing I give a shit about that hunt is that my gun got there. If you put me in a tent, if you put me on dirt, sleeping on the dirt, I would have been fine with that. My wife would have been livid pissed, but I would have been okay with it. But when you told me that in my mind, the only thing you had to get right is that gun was going to be on the plane.
Yeah.
And that I could take that gun on the next plane to get to where you were, right? Because here's the other thing. That guy doesn't live in the capital. He lives in that little town that's like a it's probably like an 11-hour drive or something like that. So it was a 1-hour flight. So it's like from here to Vegas. So how is he going to get me out of a pinch from his little town if he's in Vegas and I'm in LA, right? That makes no sense. So the minute that he didn't get the gun done, then we're like, stop. Because this you had to get right.
Right.
This you had to get right. So, that's basically where it started to deteriorate.
So how is moving forward, like Romania on your list? Is it still on your list? Did this experience kind of drop it back, like not back down to the bottom, but did it drop a couple slots to where, Romania?
Well, it's a big country. So, okay, if we go to Safari Club International in February and we run into a bear guy, guy's like, hey, bear hunt, American dollars, X number of dollars.
Romania.
This is where we're staying, and he's got a good game plan. I'm in. I mean, Romania's a big country, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that if I would have asked for, hey, bro, I need to see this is the balance, though, okay? Because, yes, if I would have asked for a contract and a hard date of when we're hunting and all of these things, probably that wouldn't have happened. Probably. However, I'm going by how you behave. So if you're by like, hey man, I'm a handshake type dude, and this is our deal, this is what we got going on. These are the parameters. Point. Then I'm gonna go, because if I want to hunt with you, I'm gonna go with the way you want to do it.
Yeah, I'm going off of your vibe.
Right. If you're cool, I'm cool.
Yeah.
The minute you fucked up, you fucking fucked up.
Right.
Like I'm no longer blindly following you. Right.
And who's supposed to ask more questions? The person that's going to be on the hunter, or the person that's taking the person out hunting?
Well, typically it's the person that's taking you out hunting. They want to know what you want.
Right.
So again, I think that there's a language barrier. There's a time barrier. I did talk to 3 other guys that hunted with them, and they all had
that's what you said.
Very
on
nice
our
things
last
to say.
Episode 23. I mean, you were saying that the reviews and the feedback that were left in some of the comments.
Nobody
were
said anything
fine.
negative. Nobody said anything negative. In fact, there were guys that were hunting with him again.
I wonder if they used his gun.
Probably. I don't know. Probably. You know, it's funny, dude. Like guys, even the guys from the club, some of them Eric used the camp
In
gun
Africa.
in Africa.
Yeah.
Octavio used the camp gun in Africa.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think majority of the people would probably go that route. But in your sense, in your experience, Langosta, like you know what you want, and you know you being a hunter and an avid gun guy.
Yeah.
I get it. Like,
yeah, for me it's the story, the article, the pictures and stuff with my gun. I spent weeks fucking coming up with these loads.
yeah,
all that stuff.
Then
That's all part
you
of
had,
my
I mean,
experience.
that was the plan in your head too. Like you planned
Yeah.
to put yourself in the position with that tool.
Yeah,
and that gun.
and kill him with one shot.
Exactly.
Done deal.
So
Not
I
fucking
get it.
around.
So I got a question just to find out a little bit more about Langosta and have the audience learn a little bit more about
Okay.
Langosta's behaviors and habits. So, because I know the answer to the question that if this was asked to me. So the day before you're supposed to head out, did you have everything packed, or were you planning on packing when you got home from the hunting club?
No, so I was packed, Jojo.
Oh, you had everything.
I was 90% packed, I would say. Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay.
So when we ended up not going, I had to empty out the bag because we went to Paso Robles. So I just like dumped my bag on the bed, repacked with the stuff I needed for wine country, and off we went. But no, I was packed.
Unpacking the bag, where you're like, fucking motherfucker.
I got so angry so early on. By the time Friday came along, I was over it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still kind of maybe simmering, and I brought it up when we were in Paso with my wife. Not in a negative way. I'm like, but we could have been in Romania now. She's like, yeah, I'm okay with Paso Robles.
This is cool.
This does not suck. So yeah, no, I was pretty like, look, for the hunting stuff, for hunting Africa and international hunting, I got I have my game plan packed pretty good.
Yeah.
I use a GI bag. I had to buy another one because I lent it out, and the person to be named Nameless, Chuck, lost it, and or I don't know. So anyway, it's no big deal. It's like $18. So I got another bag. I got a bigger one actually with a shoulder loop thing on it. But anyway, I use that because I will get my duffel bag, a soft duffel bag, with my clothes. I can fit the ammo Pelican case in there, and I can fit like the heavy jackets that don't fit anywhere. I stuff them all in there, and then I lock the whole thing up. It's really hard. It makes it a lot harder for to break and your shit gets all over the place.
Yeah.
Or people steal your shit. So because it only has that one opening, you put a lock on there.
Yeah.
You're good.
The more disorganized you are, the harder it is to figure out what's going on in there. The least likely it is somebody's going to take the time and the opportunity.
Random. It looks random in there, but it's not. And then the Africa bag. The Africa bag looked like it had been used to mop the floor in all airports it's ever been on, right? So it looks so skank that I had to wash it pretty much after every trip. But over the years of using it, it looks so skanky that it was like, dude, this is like a homeless guy's bag. Like,
yeah,
move on, go to something nicer. So anyway, but people could toss that bag, and it was real easy to put the ammo in the Pelican and take it out, because once you get to Africa, it can't fly inside with your big bag. It has to fly on its own.
Yeah,
they'll segregate it with the guns, and that gets unloaded off the plane on its own deal. So anyway, yeah, look, it was disappointing for sure. I'm still kind of a little bit sore, but not livid. I would give Romania a chance again, but I would definitely ask a lot more questions, and I want to see some. So okay, so if you were to ask me, what would you do different this time, or what, on this next outfitter? Forget about the other guy.
What would you do differently next time?
Okay, so I would ask for, up until the hunt, I would ask for updated pictures on other bear hunts, or even other red stag, or because there's probably about a half a dozen game animals that they'll hunt out there. So if he's an active outfitter, he should have that. So, hey,
Yeah.
man, let me see some of the last things. Let me see some of the people you've hunted with. I'll definitely hit them up and talk to them a little bit about it. And mostly not to interrogate the outfitter, but I'm like, hey, man, like, you're an American, I'm an American. We know what we like or what our expectations are as Americans. What do I prepare myself for? What should I bring? What did you not bring that you wish you would have brought? Stuff like that. Stuff like that. Not so much being like, Gestapo interrogation. I want to have a realistic expectation. I don't want to impose my American expectations on other people. I just want to be like, hey, man, I'm traveling your country. We're going to do it your way. We're going to, like, cool. I just want to know what to expect so I can prepare myself for that. And if there's some shortcomings on things that I don't like if you tell me, hey, listen, bro, we ate fucking Polish sausages for fucking 7 days. Like there was no fucking anything different. And I'd be like, hey, buddy, listen, check it out. I'm going to pay you before we go out of the hunting ground. We're going to go to the grocery store, and I want to do a little shopping list. I'm going to bring a cooler. I'm going to fill the fucking cooler with the food that I like to eat. And off we go. So, stuff like that, right?
So what I hear, what's coming to my mind right now is that we should post a link to a Langosta international hunting questionnaire / checklist.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you guys want to listen to that? Would you guys want to see something like that?
I mean, why not, right? Like, I think these are things that people kind of go and they my thought is, if I'm going to go pay for a trip to go to an international location, honestly, my thought process, me being me, isn't necessarily doing on the research. Like, I'm thinking about, I'm paying for a service, so all of this should be done.
Right.
And that, the person that I'm paying for this service, help me, answer and ask myself the own questions.
Yeah.
Like, I'd expect that the person would be like, okay, well, you're coming here. Where are you coming from? I'm coming from the United States, California.
Right.
Okay, what are you going to be shooting? Are you going to want to use my gun, your gun?
Right.
My own gun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Romania, you're going to need this, and this. I'm going to need this by this date, that by that date. And then the other questions, like you even said, like, what are the accommodations going to be? Like, you could say outfitted, 2 meals per day, we'll take care of it, drop camp. Ask the question, like, hey,
sure.
if you're picky, like, what are you gonna, what's provided?
Yeah.
Are there different things?
No, 100%.
So, like, a checklist isn't necessarily a bad idea.
No, I think you're right. Look, when we went to Namibia last year, the other guys that were there were Arabs. I don't know if it's Saudi Arabia or whatever, but those cats aren't eating like, they eat their little Muslim diet situation. So they were taken to the store, and they were put in their accommodations had a kitchen so they could cook their own deal and all that stuff. And that's what they wanted. So here's the thing. You don't know what is possible until you kind of start thinking about that, right? Like, look, could I eat sausage and all, this crazy European food for 5 days? Probably. But if you give me the option of, carving out an hour and going to the grocery store and getting some stuff, some ribeyes and shit like that I like to eat, and then, let's roll. Let's roll.
I tell you what, that's one of my favorite hunting partners, my brother-in-law, because it's he gets to ask the questions. He comes up with all the good questions, and if I find myself saying a lot, hey, that's a good question. Let's ask that.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy too that's reaching out to the biologists in units and calling the game wardens and asking all these different types of questions.
The last GPS of the herd that you saw?
How many collared elk do you guys have in the unit? And if we saw a collared elk, is it this? Is it that? Is it that? Is it this? And I'm just like,
shoot him in the leg?
Wow, that's a great question. And my wife's always just like, you should ask more questions. And I'm like, I got Dustin.
Well, I definitely should have asked more questions, and I paid the price for it. So.
Well, man, I'm bummed to hear about that. But I'm happy to see you in good spirits. I know you had a great trip to Paso Robles.
We did.
That's a great consolation trip, especially here in Southern California, to go out to wine country. And it's beautiful. And guess what? The year and the years aren't over, so there's a lot more opportunity for you to get out there and do what do what you want to do, whether it's go back to Romania or another Africa trip. But I know there's some other things that are coming up this year. So by the end of 2025, there's some other possibilities out there,
absolutely,
including quail hunt number 2, maybe.
Yep. Go shoot me some birds. Give me some birds. Well, listen. I think we got the message that Randy's in town, so we're gonna go ahead and let him out of the lobby. Let him out of the cage in the lobby.
I'm very happy that Randy's back. So let's go check to see who's at the door.
Randy, hold on a second.
So we just want to say, Langosta and myself, Jojo, a big mahalo for tuning into Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Again, this is episode 24 of this shenanigan show. If you have not already liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure that you go ahead and click that thumbs up button, like the show, leave your comments, and we'd be more than happy to share whatever information that we can or answer any of your questions. Also, don't forget to check out our other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Happy hunting season to everybody out there. It is September. It is one of the most exciting times of year, especially if you are an elk hunter. And even if you're not, it's just that time of year where the rut is on. So if you are or hold a tag in your hand and you're heading out into the field, good luck. Hopefully you find yourself some bugling bulls and get yourself a nice 5x5, 6x6, 6x7, 7x7, a big monster elk. And then also too, if you don't have an archery tag in hand, rifle seasons are coming up. So hopefully you get to enjoy yourself. Be safe out there as always. So Langosta's got the door. He's going to take a short little break, but we are pleasantly joined here by Langosta's cousin Randy.
Back from Romania.
So Randy did go to Romania, so we will have to hear that story. The gun did not stop him.
Not to stop Randy here.
So Randy, straight back from Romania. How was your trip?
Killed 2 bears.
2 bears?
Yeah, killed 2 bears.
Wow.
Little mama and a little cub. Yep.
A mama and a cub.
At the airport. They were on the way of the plane. Trying to land on the goddamn plane, and I don't know what's wrong with my cousin over there. That boy's a bit of a cooter. He didn't show up on the hunt, but
so were you able to change your flight and just make it a quick round trip, pack up that bear, throw it in the bin, and you're back?
I had lunch. I had lunch before we did all that.
Sausage?
Yeah, I delivered some sausage too. We're there for 40-hour trip.
So there may be a new mama bear in Romania.
I don't say stuff like that. It'll be good superstition.
Oh man.
Now, look, the Romanian girls, they're easy to catch. Girls a little thick ankled. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have to trip them like normal.
Let's call it big bear in Romania, ankled.
Let's just say that it's a target-rich environment. Target-rich environment. A lot of they like the beer there.
Oh man.
Woo, yeah.
So were you able to pack back a lot of bear meat or what?
Oh yeah. No. It was I had to pay overages. Those Delta boys are hard on me, man.
Oh man.
There's a lot of dry ice. I even lost the glove.
Oh.
The Romanian girls, you gotta wear a glove or you can catch it by the ankle. the slippery girls, you know what I'm saying? So
welcome to the show, Randy. Glad to have you here, man. I know your cousin's pretty pissed off that he didn't get to go to Romania, but based off of what I'm hearing from you right now, you had a great trip, a fast trip, and you're back here in Redondo Beach, California.
Jojo, we got it done. Honestly. My cousin's a little bit of wanker, a little slow. Maybe because he's got a midriff problem. But I got no problems hunting in Romania. I mean, lots of bear, lots of girls.
You must have asked a lot of questions.
Randy don't ask that many questions, but Randy has a general idea of where to go. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I got what you call street sense in the wilderness. And that's not something that commonly people have. Street sense in the wilderness.
So, talking about that street sense in the wilderness, that is why we have a segment whenever you're in town dedicated just for you, because people have questions out there and what they're looking for are answers. And we're so lucky that you're related to the show that, whatever people write in about or, they're curious about, we bring you in as our own specialized subject matter expert to help us with Mullet Mail.
Well, look, I got to tell you guys, I got to do a lot of heavy lifting out here because, Randy, that's just Randy's work ethic. But today we got a mail from over and out from Trapper. Trapper sends in this little love message over here. So I'm going to read it out to you, all right? All right, my name is Jake, a.k.a. Trapper. I'm writing to you into Mullet Mail because I took a fishing trip out of Colorado last year, and some buddies and I almost got detained by the TSA. That's tender love and care, by the way. Let me explain what happened. Some of my buddies made a trip out to the local gun range for some weekend fun out on the fishing trip. One of our friends let's call him Steve, packed all his gun gear in his lucky backpack and used the same backpack as a carry-on. What a freaking moron.
What a moron.
One of our friends, sorry, hold on, lost my place there. Well, guess what? There were 2 9mm rounds in the backpack. Ooh. Luckily, he noticed it before TSA screening, but we came in this close to being added to the no-fly list. All thanks to Steve, who didn't bother cleaning out his backpack before planning our trip to Colorado fishing trip. Over and out the Trapper. Well, what you got, Steve, right there is your little pal over there. Trapper, your little pal, Steve. He's what I call a bona fide, certified card-carrying quiffer. And...
or a member of the Redondo Rod and Gun
Club. Or that. Could be that too, sir. You gotta do a double check there. Got to be careful with that. So when dealing with the little Steves like that, you got to be careful because these little numbskulls will get you pinched up, okay? This is the same guy that will shoot a deer out of season and ask the game warden what the size of the deer he should have shot that didn't shoot out of season. So you got to be careful with these Steves, man. What you need to do is you got to take care of you got to be careful who you hang out with and be sure that they're not little quiffer type problems like this little Steven pal of yours.
Randy, I'll tell you what, that's a great piece of Mullet Mail and a great piece of advice. I think Langosta and myself could actually do a whole show on travel while hunting. Because
he's been in a pickle himself, from my understanding.
I understand he's been in a pickle himself because us hunters that are going out hunting and traveling, even domestically here in the U.S. or the mainland U.S., we're probably packing the same bags, and those 9mm rounds, those shell casings, those extra magazines.
What I heard, Langosta is a reckless packer.
They don't.
He packs it tight, but it's the wrong stuff sometimes. It's got a lot of problems in there. I heard he was reckless packer.
Spring chicken.
Yeah. Listen, dude, the problem is with cousin Langosta over there is that when you open that man's bag, you don't know what's going to happen.
Oh man,
it could be colorful, it could be surprising, it may make you blush. You don't know what's going to happen when you unzip that thing. So if you ever travel with Langosta and you see him going through that TSA line, you got to step away. You step away.
You don't want any involvement whatsoever.
The worst thing you could do is have the same hat on that he has.
Take a back seat.
Yeah, no, you need distance. What you need to do is come up with a game plan and meet at the gate. In fact, if you don't go to the airport with him, you're probably better off. That's how it is. That's how I'm telling you. You're putting yourself in harm's way by doing that.
So, Cousin Randy, great advice out there. And I know, when people listen to the show here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads, they always wonder to themselves, how can they get in touch with you? So if they had questions, they had mail, where do they go?
We have this thing called the internet. You understand what I'm saying? And if you type in there with your little fat fingers, Mullet Mail at riflesrodsandbroads.com, you will get to my mailbox, at which point, please control yourself. Do not send me any more midget porn. I'm all done with the midget porn. I can't handle any more midget porn. And frankly, I'm going to look like some kind of pervert with the midget porn that I have in my box. So no more midget porn. If you have other hunting and fishing questions, please go ahead and send that. Short of that, Thank you very much. And a letter of appreciation would be great, but no more midget porn.
Got it.
Thank you.
We will put that down on our website in the comments, and we'll definitely not include that as a link.
Now, you didn't ask me about my hat.
Yeah, so tell us about this hat.
Now, some people may look at this hat and may say that I may be involved with shyness to the sun. But what happened in Romania is you don't have the problem with Romania is you can't be walking around without a hat. All right. This kind of hat right here is anti-vampirial hat. When you go to Transylvania, people don't know that Dracula's there.
So is it made out of like garlic?
No, he just can't land. He just can't land. The vampires can't land on the hat. That's the thing. It's a mosquito concept with the Tyvek suit. You just can't land. Can't land. Can't get to the jugular. You're safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a force field. You know what you got right here? A little bit of garlic pizza. You're fucking set. You're all set for the afternoon. Now.
So we will include a link to that hat.
Yeah. No, this episode. This is a life-saving hat. See the life? It says life savings right there. Yeah, life savings. Now, you walk around down in the Strand over here, make it look like an asshole walking around with this hat. But, most people don't realize this is an anti-vampirial hat. And, you got to have a little bit of self-consciousness.
Did you happen to see any vampires while in
Romania? No. The hat was protected. I walked around, no problem. No problem. There was a couple times I felt something funny on my ankle, but it wasn't that. It was one of them little thick-ankled girls at the bar, and she had too much Jägermeister. And listen, you got to stay away from Jägermeister. You got to stay away from vampires, and don't go camping in lightning storms. That's the rule of the story of this episode right now. So with that, look, I got my limo. I got to go. Guys, thank you very much for another episode of Mullet Mail. And Randy, over and out from Romania.
Okay, Randy, we'll see you again. Mahalo for joining the show.
Bye-bye.
Cousin Randy there, Langosta's cousin. You can see some similarities, but obviously they're not all similar. Randy asks some great questions while Langosta has no idea on how his gun is going to get to Romania. But once again, thanks for tuning in to Rifles, Rods, and Broads. We are talking about episode 24 here. It is hunting season. It's the official kickoff to fall just a couple days ago. We're recording this show as the 24th of September, so just 2 days ago, the kickoff of fall. Football's in season, deer's in season, elk's in season, everything's in season, birds are in season. This is the time of year where we redefine trigger happy.
Man, I am trigger happy, man. I'm trigger happy. Listen, I'm so happy. For those of you guys that had not been following the last few episodes, I've been working on the Langosta Load.
That's what she said.
The Langosta Load. The LL, the L squared.
If you guys haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe so you get hit up with our Wheel Gun Wednesdays.
And we're about to have an international checklist link too.
That's right. So this is my 45 long Colt Magnum plus P plus with low burn powder, meaning you don't get that big old muzzle flash.
Mm-hmm.
So I made this in a 44 Magnum and a 45 Colt. This is a bear load. I bet it would work great on Romanian bears.
Well, your cousin knows how to take those things down, but
yeah, no, I'm very proud of him. He had a good episode there. I mean, I don't know if he's all there. He came back all there. But
so you took that bullet out to the range. How far were you shooting?
Oh, I think we shot maybe 10, 15 yards with it. It patterned really good. The recoil is, I could probably put a little bit more powder, just a little bit, half a grain more. But I think it's there. I think this will kill pigs.
And the accuracy was there.
The accuracy was definitely
those
there.
are some of the questions that I was asking on the last episode. Like, you look at like just the surface area of that bullet that's on that round, and right away the thought is, man, that is not aerodynamic. So you need. No,
this is a bone crusher. I mean, that flatness when that hits bone, it's not bouncing or wiggling around bone. It's just going to punch right through the bone. This is definitely a bone buster.
And 10 to 15 yards, right in the wheelhouse of like, hey, if there's something that's a predator in that area, I'm fucking pulling the trigger and
this is my oh shit load. Yeah, this is my oh shit load. Yeah, this is like save my ass load for sure.
Well, looks good, man. Glad to hear that that's working out.
the recoil is not so brutal either that you come off target too much. So this is the sweet spot, guys. You can buy some ammo out there, Bore Buster, Lehigh Defense, Underwood, and if you get the real heavy stuff, you're going to get heavy recoil. What I'd rather you, instead of putting one super hot recoil load in the pig or the bear, I'd rather you put 3 or 4 in them. You got a bigger chance of putting them down with 3 or 4 rounds than just one, right? And the idea is that you're able to go 1, 2, 3, 4 with minimal, with some recoil, but manageable recoil is really my goal. So that's what I've been balancing out. It's not a tremendously hot load, but for 45 Colt, the average speed is 850 feet a second. This is going 1150 from a Ruger, guys. You got to shoot this from a Ruger. You cannot grab your grandfather's Colt, Generation 1 and blow that thing up. This is
we learned that in your Wheel Gun Wednesday.
Yeah. So the Ruger Red Hawk is a great gun, super strong gun. And the new Smith & Wessons are good too. But if you like 45 Colt, that's kind of my jam. I really like the 45 Colt. This is it.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna have to get some video out there at the range and talk a little bit more about that. And
yes, sir.
We've done a lot of talking in this episode, and we've got a lot more episodes to go. And it sounds like you've kind of gotten into some new toys. We may be talking about a little bit later on some upcoming episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of episode. Got a little technology. We've got some technology stuff. We've got a couple of AR-10 builds between me and Aaron that we've got set up that we're pretty excited about. So we got some optics coming in. We got some night vision stuff coming in. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I've got a new rifle that's coming in a 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm just waiting for it. It should be here sometime in October. So we'll have to check that out. And right around October, right after that is gonna be the Black Friday sales. So my shopping list is gonna be a nice Loophole Fire Dot scope once those puppies go on sale, and we'll get into some action.
Yeah, it'll be good.
But it was nice to see you, Langosta. Really appreciate always doing another episode here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. I'm super bummed out. Oh, look, we got a friend. Super bummed out about the Romania deal, but I'm so happy for cousin Randy getting the opportunity, grabbing some cankles.
Yep.
Taking down a mama bear and a cub. It was a great trip for him.
It was a great trip for him. He made it happen, guys. All right, guys, thanks for watching another episode of Rifles, Rods, and Broads. This is Langosta and Jojo heading out.
Aloha.